Hey y'all. I know I seem like I'm all over the place sometimes, but if you really think about the things that I come on here and talk about, it is all related to life lessons and growing and things that I've learned along my journey thus far. I'm 51, I'll be 52 this year. And today is really on my heart to talk about mental health, mental and spiritual health. Um, if you've been following me for any amount of time, or even if you've just explored my pages, I have been very transparent about my spiritual journey. I did a short series called Losing My Religion. If you're looking at this from Facebook, then I think those lives got deleted, but I did put a few of them on my YouTube channel, so you can check them out there. But I say all that to say that there's so much going on right now in regards to health, mental and spiritual health. And I'm saying it like that because health, when it comes to mentally, I attach mental health with the soul realm. So soul means the mind, the will, the emotions, okay? What drives us emotionally, the thoughts that come into our mind. I put that in the soul. The spirit is, I believe, the real and true us. I believe that's where God dwells, and or any other unseen spirit, if the spirit of God is not dwelling in you. Okay, I believe the spirit is the true us. Okay. With that being said, there's conversations now, amongst in the kind of the spiritual realm, the Christian realm, of whether a believer, a follower of Christ, someone who calls themselves a Christian, and has that type of belief system, whether they can be, demonically possessed, which I traditionally have said no. If the spirit of God lives in you, how can also a demonic spirit occupy that same space? Now, this is with my limited knowledge, but this is what I believe. I've always believed that a Christian, a believer, could only be demonically oppressed. So something from the outside, okay? I still do believe that, but there's been some recent experiences that's caused me to say maybe I need to look a little deeper into this, study it out a bit more. What do you think? If you're a Christian or just have an opinion about it, do you think that people who are genuinely Christians, I'm talking about the faith part, the belief part, not just in name only, some type of identification, but I'm talking about what people truly and genuinely believe. Do you think that that person can be demonically possessed, or do you think that they can just be oppressed from the outside in? I will say this in regards to mental health and spiritual health. Don't hesitate to get help if you begin to realize that you are feeling differently, if you're starting to have thoughts that are overtly of whether it's an evil nature or just a negative nature, if you're starting to really feel oppression, if you're starting to have really kind of thoughts and feelings that are different for you, or if you've always struggled with these type of dark thoughts and feelings and desires, then I encourage you to get help. The reason why I'm saying this right now, I have in my hand the obituary from Commissioner Dennis Deer. Now, I attended his funeral 2 years ago. And my heart was broken because we're practically like, we're close to the same age. He's actually closer to my brother's age. He was born a month before my brother, a month and a half-ish before my brother, and his wife his wife is my age. His wife, Barbara Deer, was just unalived, I'll say it that way for these purposes, by one of her twin sons. Now, you know, my family had gotten the word prior to it, you know, really hitting the news by way of personal contacts. We have history clearly with the Deer family. I was not close to this family. I'm not trying to cap, okay? I wasn't close to this family, but we went to church, to the same church for a bunch of years. And Dennis was in one of our plays way back many years ago. And obviously it had an impression on him because it was actually in his obituary. It was mentioned in his obituary, his participation with drama ministry. And that was heartwarming because, you know, it was always love when we would see him, but I wouldn't see him that often. You know, people are busy. We're busy. I'm busy. He was busy. He was very active in the community and also was a commissioner, as I said. And he had a family. A few months ago, I went to check out a local Black-owned grocery store, which had just recently opened, and I was checking out, and a woman like called me, and she was, you know, looking at me, and she was calling me to her, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, she looks super familiar, but you know, you have so many faces, but maybe not names attached, and just can't quite place it. And we started talking, and she was like, she could tell I couldn't really I didn't really know who she was but I knew her, but I didn't know her. And she was like, oh, I'm Barbara. She was like, I'm Dennis Deer's wife. And I was like, oh. And we hugged and we talked for about 10 minutes or so. And that was that. She knew me, but I really only knew her by face, but it was a familiarity because, like I said, we've gone to the same church for a bunch of years. And I didn't know that would be the last time, that months later she would have this tragic death. And here's the thing, like I said, I'm not close to the family. I don't know them like that, but from all intents purposes, it's a beautiful, solid family. But when the head got removed, maybe something else happened. Maybe something else happened. I cannot imagine the suffering that had to be going on for a child to take his mother's life and then also take his own. I don't know the history, but I will tell you, I just felt so compelled to pull out Dennis's obituary, and I just wanted to look at his family, at his wife, and I can't believe that she's gone. She seemed to be a really beautiful person, and they had an awesome reputation in every way. But I have to tell you, when I'm looking at all of these pictures, I didn't know which twin it was. But if you look, none of the pictures he's smiling in, none of the family pictures is he smiling in. This young man may have been disturbed for a very long time, maybe even from childhood. I am literally looking at older pictures, and you can see. Now, I'm only showing this because, first of all, it's public. It's all over the news and the internet. But I'm showing this to show that this young man had to be suffering for a very long time. And I also noticed that in most of the family pictures, he was standing by his mom. He was usually standing next to his mom. I want to believe that maybe it was a mistake, meaning that maybe he was trying to harm himself and maybe she tried to stop him. And I can't wrap my mind around this young man doing this on purpose. But if he did, again, I'm just looking at the eyes always tell the story. I'm looking at this young man's eyes, and whatever was going on with him, it had been going on for a while. And like I said, this is me speculating. I don't know the family like that. I had interludes with them over the years, okay? Particularly the parents. I did not know the kids, okay? But what I'm saying is it's twofold. It's if you are having some mental health challenges, get help before you harm yourself or someone else. Get help. What help is counseling, is therapy, it's whatever you have to do to heal, and for however long it takes. That is not a one and done thing. People have a lot of things going on in their lives, in their backgrounds, or even if it's just some type of imbalance or spiritual challenge. Whatever it is, it's not normal to have evil, negative thoughts and desires. If you have thoughts about harming yourself or others, you need to seek help and seek it immediately. Don't wait. That's your local churches. That's your, contact your doctor and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. Can you refer me to a therapist? There's plenty of community organizations as well. But please, don't wait until you are in a moment of breaking, where again, you either self-harm or you harm someone else. There is the other side of that, is that when you recognize that someone is having mental health challenges, or like I said, because I definitely believe that there can be demonic possession or oppression that happens with people. We can't downplay nor ignore it, because sometimes you just don't know what that person is capable of. What is a breaking point that would cause them to either self-harm or harm someone else? And sometimes, if a person is refusing to get help, you have to escalate that matter. There's a situation that's going on right now where I am being very, very on guard in regards to this individual. This is not a safe individual. And in the past, they were safe, but they are not safe anymore. They are not safe to others based on their actions, how they're presenting now. And this has been for a while. We cannot ignore when people are not being normal, when they are doing things that is making it very clear that they are not in their right state of mind. And if on top of that, they are not willing to proactively get help, then you have to put boundaries in place. You have to secure the innocence, okay? Y'all, we really, really have to take care of ourselves and each other. It is a lot going on in this world. And it's for a number of different reasons. People are under a lot of different pressures. And some people snap or buckle under those pressures. And sometimes they don't only do harm to themselves, they do harm to others, especially if they are in a frame of mind that they are in a blaming, like they're looking at others as to the reason why they are having the challenges that they're having. That can be very dangerous if they are blaming others. Yeah, okay. I'm going to leave it there. If you made it to the end of this video, please, again, get help. This is what's on my heart, and that's what I use my platforms for. This is what's happening right now. These are the lessons, and that includes if it's me. If I am having some mental health challenges, if I am having some spiritual, warfare type of situations going on, if I'm having evil, dark thoughts continuously, because listen, those are not original thoughts. So we all get bombarded with things sometimes, but there's a difference between every now and then being in a continuous deep dark place where you now are getting to a place where this is getting dangerous to yourself and others, and you have to be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. If this is you, don't downplay it. Get help. Okay?